is the money going to go? Scott?
Yeah. So there's two ideas on the table. One, which was proposed by Elon Musk, that there would be some sort of a DOGE dividend where the savings from this effort would go back as a rebate to the American people. The other idea, which I actually think is a better idea, is to take the savings and let's pay down the debt. I mean, I think what Frank was saying is correct. We're living under this massive debt. We're spending more than we should spend. The American people are tired of waiting. And so to me, the beauty of the DOGE effort is we're reducing the waste, eliminating wasteful spending out of government. I don't know that it makes sense to necessarily turn it right back around. We could pay down the debt with it. We could just have a smaller government. And so that way we're actually spending less, which I think ultimately is a goal of the American people.
They should do both, by the way, in the end. Give the people something back and pay down the debt with the rest of it. At some point, Van, and I know you're upset about the process. By the way, I hear you about that. At some point, you have to listen to what the voters are demanding, or you're going to have the same reaction in 2026 that you had in 2024.
Just don't complain when we do it.
They voted for Trump. They voted for
Van,
Republicans.
Just don't complain when we do it.
We do it. Just don't complain. Man, you keep saying that we'd be upset if a Democratic president violated norms. Brother, last year, Joe Biden was asleep and Kamala Harris was at a dance party with Beyonce all year. You violated norms for the entire year, and it's one of the reasons that Donald Trump won the election. Norms were violated for 4 straight years. And yes, I didn't like it, but Donald Trump, in my opinion, is not exceeding his authority under the Constitution with this violence.
Nobody's been more critical of my party than I have. And what I'm telling you is there is a lie that's being sold to the American people that because people are upset and because Biden didn't do a great job, that Trump can do whatever he wants to. And that is you go over that edge, you're in a different country, and we don't want to be in a different country. He can do everything he wants to do lawfully and within our norms, immediately, aggressively. He's choosing to do it the wrong way, and we will pay a price for it as a country if it continues.
But whatever the savings ought to be, it's not like President Trump's doing us a favor by giving us 20%. Everything ought to go to the debt because the Peterson people say by 2050, 50% of all revenue is going to go to satisfying interest on the debt. We should be paying the debt. Your response?
My response is this. We should be paying the debt, which is why the DOGE dividend incentivizes every American to call out waste, fraud, and abuse, to lower the budget, to narrow the deficit, and to bring down the debt. Where was this emergency over the debt when we sent $350 billion to Ukraine to be wasted? Where was this emergency, Michael, on CNN when you guys were advocating $7,000 to migrants in Chicago? $7,000 a month per migrant, and now we want to spend $5,000 one time from President Trump to hardworking Americans. The migrants didn't deserve $7,000 a month. Hardworking Americans deserve a $5,000 check with President Trump's name on it. So enough with the double standard. Ukraine did not deserve $350 billion.
Listen to me. This is Madoff-like. This is a Ponzi scheme.
No, Ukraine was a Ponzi scheme. The migrant funding was a Ponzi scheme. Hardworking Americans deserve a break.
James,
it was their money, Michael. It was their money.
James, give me a chance to speak. Theoretically, it's my program. We don't have the money, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's a Ponzi.
So we didn't have the money for Ukraine, right? We didn't have the money for Ukraine. $350 billion.
I never do this. I don't want to be that guy. And do I have to silence your microphone so that I can respond to what you've said? Because there's so much fallacy in what you've just offered.
Please go ahead and refute it.
I have a very simple premise here. We're $36 trillion in debt. It's a fraud. As much as I want to see us cut waste, fraud, and abuse, it is an absolute fraud to say to the American people, because of what Musk is doing, we have $5,000 to give each of you. The only way we have $5,000 is if we're borrowing it, because we're that far in debt.
The worst thing for the Democrat Party right now would be if it actually works. The worst thing for the Democrat Party is if the debt does go down.
To be honest with you, the worst thing, you're right, but honestly, the worst thing that could happen is Elon gives out them $5,000 stimulus checks.
Oh, it's over.
He give out them $5,000 stimulus checks.
It's a wrap.
It's going to be bad for a while.
Imagine what people will feel when they go, by the way, this isn't us giving you money. This is us giving you your hard-earned money back. You deserve this.
Listen, a political,
they are playing.
From a political marketing perspective, it's genius.
Because they understand what people are feeling. And the Democrats, instead of crying about all this and labeling him big bad man and all this other stuff, they should really be paying attention to what the American people are feeling and finding ways for their policies to have messaging that taps into what Americans are feeling. Don't gaslight them.
I'm with you.
Just, you have to understand what they're feeling and then implement policies that tap into that.
The public is not asking, they are demanding. They cannot afford to pay the taxes they're being asked to pay. They can't afford the inflation and the costs and the affordability. And they're saying Washington needs to spend less so the American people can have more.
Pass a bill. Pass a bill and have the president sign it. That's our system. Pass a bill with your
let me tell
party
you something.
and let the president sign it.
Do you want to understand why Harris lost the election? The public didn't want to wait anymore.
So
your point is well taken about the Constitution, but the American people are fed up. They're angry as hell. They want Washington to change. And the reason why Trump is more popular today than he was even during the election, he's at the height of his popularity, whether we agree with it or not, because they want action.
There are
they want results.
Authoritarians
and they're
are popular.
tired of waiting. This is not authoritarian.
It's authoritarian.
I can't hear both of you. Van, go ahead.
Hold on a second. I understand people are upset. My people are upset too. But if we had a president a Democratic president who ran over these norms, you would be upset. It's very disturbing. I expect my conservative friends to agree with me that if you're going to break this kind of precedent, of course, Donald Trump said he's going to shake up the soda bottle, so you can say, well, anything Donald Trump does, we can't complain about it. We just have to take it because he said he was going to do it on the campaign trail. That's not how a democratic republic works. Not how a constitutional republic works. There are traditions, there are norms. If you're going to break with this norm and have a purge, that's what it looks like. It's different countries. It's a purge of the top military. You want to identify what did that general do that was inappropriate. What was the scandal? What was the bad hire? And there is literally nothing. I've been looking all day, calling around, and it's basically just this slander that he's woke in DEI. Well, if you are the head of a military that is multiracial and multicultural and you want it to be cohesive, you need to have policies in place to help that happen.
Yeah, I'll give you a good reason, because this person serves at the pleasure of the president. This is the principal military advisor to the president. And I don't, Van, necessarily think he had to have done anything wrong or had to have had a scandal or have any kind of mark against him at all. It's just that the president wants to have the most confidence in his principal military advisor. Obviously, he wants to pick somebody else. And there shouldn't be anything wrong with that, because under our Constitution, we have a civilian-led military and the president is the commander-in-chief, and he should have the principal military advisor that he wants. I don't think there's anything wrong at all with General Brown. I think he has served this country honorably. I think he's a good man. And you might remember back in the first Trump term, he was promoted and nominated to be the head of the Air Force by Donald Trump. So obviously Trump has liked him in the past and thinks he's had an amazing career, and he even put out a positive statement about him tonight. But at the end of the day, this is a position that serves at the pleasure of the president. The president's Donald Trump, and he deserves to have the top advisors that he wants and that he has the most confidence.
By the way, I just note that Donald Trump, the day after holding that little party with those people who apparently are not embarrassed to be seen with him, just fired the Joint Chiefs Chair, C.Q. Brown, who was only the second person ever to be a black Joint Chief, a chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So he did that the day after. So y'all got used, you got played, you got nothing. Byron Donalds, though, watch, is going to apparently get Donald Trump's endorsement. He got his Truth Social endorsement to be the governor of Florida.
Yeah, every community has what I call their chickens for Colonel Sanders. Muslims had their halal chickens. The black community has their chickens. Byron Donalds is a grown-ass black man who referred to Donald Trump as his daddy. And what I want to tell the Byron Donalds, and every community's got a Donald. I got a Kash Patel. We got a Nimrata, we got a Haley. We all got them, all right? What I want to say is this. They'll never love you. They'll never love you. No matter what you do, they'll never love you. You can never wipe out that brown or black skin. To quote Born Identity, look what they make you give. Your integrity, your decency, your people, your cultures, your self-respect. And for what? How many black people are in the Trump administration? One. It ain't Byron Donalds. It ain't Tim Scott.
I watch this MSNBC, which is a threat to democracy, actually. They're stone cold, but they're stuttering. They're all screwed up. They're all mentally screwed up. They don't know what. Their ratings have gone down the tubes. I don't even talk about CNN. CNN's sort of like, I don't know. They're pathetic, actually. But MSNBC was mean. Their ratings are absolutely down. This Rachel Maddow, what does she have? She's got nothing. Nothing. She took a sabbatical where she worked 1 day a week. They paid her a lot of money. She gets no ratings. I should go against her in the ratings because I'll tell you, she gets no ratings. All she does is to talk about Trump, 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 Trump. All different subjects, Trump this, Trump that. But these people are really, I mean, they lie.
I want to get to Attorney General Pam Bondi is now vowing to release the bombshell Jeffrey Epstein document. She says it's sitting on her desk. Here's a little bit of what she had to say. Listen.
This is something Donald Trump has talked about. The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Melina, do you have any insight on what's coming?
Transparency. Transparency is coming. We had a lot of defiance, I think is the word you were looking for, from the radical left, and that's because they would have rather us kept quiet. They didn't want to expose the funding that they were getting through NGOs, through USAID, and now they're going to panic because they don't want anybody to know who was on Epstein's Island, who was a pedo, and who is probably still sitting in D.C. And the reality of the situation is this: there will be accountability, and America deserves it. We needed to know what the drones are. We needed to know that we were okay. We need to know about Epstein's Island. We want to know about JFK. The days of American government hiding from American people are over. We need transparency. We have done that, and we will continue to do so. I'm excited for Pam and now Cash to get in there and clean up our mess.
When it comes to politics, he don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. He's on that running his goddamn mouth about how he may have to run as a Democrat because there's nothing left of the Democratic Party. There's no talent. Stephen A., are you shitting me? I mean, you say you're friends with Wes Moore and you say you're friends with Josh Shapiro. I'm friends with both of them. I think they're really extraordinary, talented people. I got news for you, dude. There's 6 or 7 other people in the Democratic Party that are just that talented. So before you start running your fucking mouth off about politics, a topic of which you really don't know anything about, you ought to sit back and think about it and call some people and run it by them. But don't let your political stupidity stand in the way of your outspoken and I think often insightful views when it comes to American sports, of which I think you are an expert at.
My former colleague at ESPN, now a host at Fox News, with a weekday show every weekday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him. In the same breath that he was complimentary of me, he said, I didn't know enough about the issues. He's absolutely right. I never said I did. I don't study Capitol Hill like I study sports. Do y'all want me to? Do you know what kind of havoc I'd wreak if I sat down for a few weeks and just buried my brain and my face and my mind into the nuances of politics and what transpires on Capitol Hill? Are y'all sure y'all want that smoke? You sure about that? I mean, because it's like you're daring me to, Mr. James Carver. It's like you're daring me to. You sure? Are you sure? Might want to think about that. How difficult is it to get knowledgeable about politics if I really, really wanted to make some noise? All it takes is a few weeks and a few phone calls with people that I can clearly talk to because I got them on speed dial. It ain't that hard. It's just not a lane I want to venture into in an official capacity. I'd much rather remain a pundit and a commentator.